Hello and welcome to another episode of The Problem With. Today's problem with is that this movie got promoted, it looks amazing, and it's not coming out anytime soon. Yeah, I know that joke sucks, but my producer was very adamant that I use his joke in the intro to this video. Where are you? You're on Comicstorian. I'm a guy who reads way too many comic books and knows way too much about comic books, and I narratively read comic books to you in a dramatic fashion on a nearly daily basis. Well, Deadpool just dropped its new trailer, and I wanted to talk about my theories of it and how excited I am for this. Now, first off, of course I'm excited. It's Deadpool and Wolverine, and the movie looks incredible. So, thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time right here. No, I'm joking. We're actually going to go through some of the Easter eggs, and I'm going to give you my insane theory, what is going on, and I need you to tell me if my theory is correct or not. So first off, let's talk about where this takes place. Seemingly, Deadpool not 3, because if you've been following interviews, the writer, director, whatever the guy's name is, and Ryan Reynolds have both said that this is not what they intended for Deadpool 3, meaning that we could get a Deadpool 3, which is where my theory comes into this, and we'll get to that in a second. But this appears to be taking place after Deadpool 2. I know, shocker, we do 1, 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, it makes sense that it would take place there. What happens in the comic books in this Deadpool... What happens in the comic books that this seems to be emulating is at the end of the Jerry Dugan Sad Clown run for Deadpool, which you can find on this channel narrated by me, Deadpool wins. For the first time in Deadpool's life, he has the wife that he wants to be with, he has a bunch of friends, and he has a daughter that wants to be with him. He's happy, he's retired, he's on a yacht. But in the comic book world at this time, there's an event known as the Incursions. Now, the Incursions were mentioned in the Multiverse of Madness, but they were offhandedly mentioned, and you were kind of just meant to forget about them, but super comic book nerds like me could go, oh my god, Incursions! Which we did. But anyway, the Incursions is basically the concept that the Beyonders, or the Watchers, or one of those groups that is like super powerful, I believe it's the Beyonders, are destroying various Earths by smashing them into each other. A group of Avengers that went by the name the Illuminati were traveling to these other worlds to destroy and get rid of them in an attempt to save the 616. They, of course, failed. Captain America went against Iron Man, and like Doctor Strange sold his soul. A whole bunch of crazy stuff happens. But what ended up happening at the end of it was they failed, and this planet was smashing into 616. Now, in the comic books, the universe that was smashing into the 616 was the Ultimate Universe, 1610. But that doesn't matter. Just a fun little note for our video here. What was actually funny was Deadpool at his happy ending with all of his friends, and everybody is just happy finally, looks up and sees the 1610 universe smashing into his, and his answer was, I thought the Avengers took care of that. Now, from what we know based upon potential leaks and what it looks like in the beginning of the movie with the trailer, Deadpool has retired. He has given up. Well, not given up. He's won. He's got the family. He's got everything. So that says to me that the TVA showing up, which is in this trailer, is basically here to tell Deadpool that his universe is being threatened, that his universe is going to be destroyed, and it's going to go away. If you don't know, due to the logistics of everything, the X-Men universe, which featured Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and all of those X-Men, is actually the 20th Century Fox universe. It ran adjacent to the MCU. And you would think that I'm crazy to have to explain this, but you don't know the amount of people that keep asking me when Batman's going to arrive in the Avengers. And that's not a joke. I get asked that question way more than you would assume I should be getting asked that question. So the X-Men and Deadpool were a universe over here. We had the MCU, and then DC, they got thrown into the dark side of the moon where Zack Snyder thought everything was cool and moody. But that's where they were. So we had the MCU, and we had the X-Men universes running tangents alongside each other. We're having a Porky Pig moment. And basically, the X-Men universe ended with the Dark Phoenix movie, then it ended with Logan, then it ended with New Mutants, and now it's going to end with Deadpool and Wolverine, it looks like. So what actually seems to be happening is that they're going to be giving Deadpool a chance to save the Fox universe, the 20th Century Fox universe. Now, again, if you're not following all the nitty-gritty like I am, rumor has it, and this has almost been confirmed, but I can't ever seem to find true confirmation. The reason we didn't jump to X-Men in the MCU is that the X-Men actors are all under contract until 2025, which does lead credence to why the first X-Men movie has now been announced and will be coming out in 2027. That allows them time to officially recast the X-Men in 2025 and then start getting them all involved and getting them mixed into projects. But that's also why we saw Kelsey Grammer playing Beast at the end of the Marvels, why we're getting a lot of returning characters in this movie, and why they chose to use Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Now, I have a theory about Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and we'll get to that. But anyway, to continue explaining where we are, that's Deadpool. Now, do you need to know all of this to watch the movie? Obviously not. They're probably going to hope that you at least watch Deadpool 1 and 2, but they're going to make it a lot simpler than I am right here, because the incursions are not a giant, 20-issue Avengers run. Then none of this is going on. They're going to show up, they're going to say your world's being destroyed, and Wade, you're the one that can save them. Now, this is where things get interesting, because in the trailer, Wade then goes to recruit the Wolverine that let his world die. Now, that's interesting, because that theming in general, along with things like the giant Ant-Man head, and along with things like being at the end of time, kind of leads to the idea that we're taking the Old Man Logan storyline. But if you watched the Logan movie, Benny, you would know that we took the Old Man Logan storyline. So, and I probably should just make a video on this because I don't understand why they do this, but whenever we do comic book movies, we never take the storyline. We take, the semblance of a storyline, and then we change it because some asshat in Hollywood thinks that they can do a better job than a book that has sold millions of copies. Was Logan good? Yes. Would it have been better if it was just Old Man Logan? He can censor this. Yes. But it looks like we're going to be getting more true to Old Man Logan-ish. And my response to that is, let's go. Come on. I gotta say, it's all over the trailer. Let's go. I mean, if I just anyway, I've had enough fun at Dan's expense, or he just cut an entire segment of me swearing for 5 minutes. Probably the latter. But anyway, my argument against this is I don't understand why we never just take the actual story. We get these people who think that they can write a better story, and sometimes they do. Logan was an incredible movie. But for every Logan we get Halo Season 1. Or Witcher Season 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, sorry, they got canceled. 5. They end there. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. That's a whole video in itself that I just constantly get irritated with. So he's going to the bar, and we're finding a Wolverine that let his world die. Now, if you don't know the plot to the original Old Man Logan, you can watch a video on a channel called Comicstorian, where he put a lot of time and effort into it as one of his biggest videos when he started the whole thing over. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. It's down below. Anyway, the concept is that Logan got mind-controlled and murdered the X-Men, a reoccurring theme when it comes to the X-Men. But in this universe, with Logan murdering the X-Men, Red Skull was able to basically take over the universe, and everything went wrong. Most of the majority of the heroes died. Hulk became ancestral with She-Hulk, and made a hillbilly incest family. It's like Hills Have Eyes, but with the Hulks. And then we had things like, Hawkeye being blind, and all the superheroes being dead, and half the world was nuked. But the concept behind that book is that Wolverine was mind-controlled and killed the X-Men, which was the catalyst to everything. In the Old Man Logan timeline, Wolverine did that, killed the X-Men, and then basically went into hiding because he murdered all of his friends. So he wasn't there to save this universe when Red Skull went crazy. That's what it looks like we're at here, because they're implying that he let his world die, which kind of implies that we're going to get more true to life with Old Man Logan. But Benny, you just said that they did that storyline in Logan. You're right, and your voice sounds weird. But anyway, I did say that about Logan, but the thing is they changed it, and they're using a lot of elements that were missing from the Logan movie in this movie, such as Pym Falls, which is the dead body of Hank Pym, and they're living in his skull. Now, this could probably be Lang Falls, which, when my co-host over on Absolutely said Lang Falls, my first thought was Langley Falls, and I was thinking, American Dad, but that's because I watched too many cartoons. Anyway, so that leads us into this movie. It looks like this movie's going to be Deadpool grabbing this Wolverine from an alternate timeline of the 20th Century Fox universe, and they're going to run through and try to save the universe. The big bad looks to be Cassandra Nova, which, for the record, I've never thought, oh my God, Cassandra Nova should be a young, hot actress. If you don't know, and I think I've said that a lot in this video, but if you don't know, Cassandra Nova is the kind of twin but not twin of Charles Xavier, and she's really, really old and wrinkly in the comics. They did not go that route. They did not at all. So, yes, we're going to deal with Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova seems to be the bad guy. What is the overall plan? Who knows? It looks like Deadpool's going to be working with Wolverine to fight with the TVA, and then eventually they're going to be killing the TVA. Why are they going to be doing that? I think Cassandra Nova is going to mind control and take over the TVA, using this as a way to kind of close out the TVA's storyline by killing off a majority of the members being controlled by Cassandra Nova. But Benny, what does this mean for the MCU? Well, that's where my theory comes in. So if you've been following what's going on the outside of this movie side, the MCU's like done. Like everyone hates it. It's on everyone's shit list at this point. And Bob Iger and Kevin Feige are aware of that. So they're making every attempt they can to get you hyped again. In my personal opinion, I don't think the MCU's done by any means, but I do feel a lot of the hype is gone. And you need hype if you're going to try to do movies such as The Marvels or a project such as Moon Knight. If a project like Moon Knight were to drop today, I don't think nearly as many people would watch it because out there crazy projects in the MCU are pretty much supported by the hype train that is the MCU. So, needing a hype train, needing something going on, my theory is what we need is a big ticket character. Now, we had Iron Man, he's dead. We had Captain America, he's old, so he's as good as dead. And we have Thor, who had a kid, so he's as good as dead. And lastly, we have Doctor Strange. But does anybody really care about Doctor Strange other than me and like 3 other people? And if you're one of those 3 people, go down below and be like, Benny, the meeting for the Doctor Strange fan club, that's next week. Where are you? We're expecting your tickets. Anyway, we need a big spotlight character. And you know what would make the MCU exciting? Is if Spider-Man showed up in every one of the projects. But they can't do that, right? Spider-Man can't be a cameo in every project because then Sony gets a piece of the pie. And I don't think Disney wants to tank their entire MCU franchise and then put it on the backs of Sony's Spider-Man because Sony won't just give them back Spider-Man. Who's the next big character that is still in like the MCU, still doing movies, excited to play this character and is now a part of the MCU roster? Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. I don't think Deadpool's going to be the spotlight guy, but I do think Deadpool is going to be our spotlight guy for the next year or two while we move towards the next Avengers movie and we introduce the proper X-Men. So what I think is going on, if you watch this trailer, at the ending, there is a portal. It's a sling ring portal. So Wong, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man, if he happens to get one of those fun toys and play with it. And what I think is going on is that they're jumping through the portal and entering the MCU. Now, my immediate thought process is, what about Hugh Jackman? If Ryan Reynolds goes through the portal, ends up in the MCU, and we start using him as a cameo character to pop into the end credit scenes, fun, cool, we're all going to be excited. But Hugh Jackman, as far as we know, has only signed up for Deadpool Wolverine. If you're following behind the scenes, Kevin Feige has come out and said that he loved what he saw and he wants to bring back Deadpool and Hugh Jackman Wolverine for Secret Wars. So that means Hugh Jackman may have been signed on to show up for, I think it's 2028 or even maybe 2029's Secret Wars. That is 3.5 years away from the launch of this movie. What if, and here's my crazy theory, this is being used to set up Deadpool and Wolverine jumping into the MCU to try and correct things or build a team to fight against Secret Wars or something along those lines. What if they're the ones that find out about the Battle World comic series, which, again, if you don't know, Secret Wars is a big event in which Doctor Doom controlled an entire area, and then all the superheroes had to remember who they were to fight against him. But if you wanted to know the storylines of what was going on in each of these little worlds that Doctor Doom had created, that was an event known as Battle Worlds. And what it was a fun way to do what-if storylines. What if Marvel Zombies still existed? What if A-Force ran an entire town over here? That kind of a thing. And I got a feeling that we're going to see what's the equivalent, because I don't think we're ever going to get true Battle Worlds, but I think we're going to see the equivalent at the end of time here in Deadpool. And then Deadpool and Wolverine are going to jump through the portal using a sling ring to re-enter the MCU. And then at a minimum, Deadpool's going to start showing up as our cameo character, kind of leading into building an army or building a team leading into Secret Wars. And why do I think Deadpool's eventually going to start building a team? Let's go back to Let's Go. So LFG is the slogan, the abbreviation that they're trying to do in this movie. And they want to make you think that it's Let's effing go. I'll be nice on Dan for the rest of the video. Let's effing go. But if you're a gamer, and this is not new, this is like been 30, 40 years, If you're a gamer, you know that means looking for group. What if this whole thing is Deadpool and Wolverine resolve this entire plot, they resolve this Battle Worlds, but then they need a group. They need a secret Avengers to battle in the secret war. And what if Kevin Feige just threw money at Hugh Jackman? Like, dude, just stay in shape for 3 years, man. That's all I need you to do. And that's it. Are they going to show up as cameos? Are they going to be doing the bar scene like, when it was Robert Downey Jr. going to the Hulk or Nick Fury going to the Hulk, stuff like that? Is that stuff going to happen? We could do it again. Is it the best answer? No. Do we need it? Effing yes. I'll be nice to Dan again. Effing yes. We need hype. We need something to be excited for. And if you got Deadpool and Hugh Jackman Wolverine going through the MCU to build the Secret Avengers, that's it. That's my theory. Secret Avengers. Am I crazy? Let me know down below. Boy, if I say it like that, it's kind of like in cadence, like I'm turning into a rapper. But I can't, so we're not doing that. Anyway, going through, I got a list of a couple fun Easter eggs here I thought I'd do real quickly. This is actually off GameSpot.com, which was annoying because they hit me with so many ads that I had to half shut down the website. But they had typical recruitment at the top. This is, if you don't know, all the way back at the beginning of the MCU, they use these kind of bar scenes to try and recruit people. Fun fact, if you don't know about this either, Wolverine can't get drunk, technically. So the whiskey claws joke is literally just a penis joke. That's all it is. When they cut to what appears to be the end of the world, we have a couple locations bombed there. This is where the 20th Century Fox logo is located, the one that we all thought was going to be important to the story. I feel like it's just going to stay a fun Easter egg. 20th Century Fox going to be crashing out of there. I don't think they're going to reference it, although Deadpool might make a quick one-off joke. I don't think it's going to be a plot point, I should say. The big Easter egg that is making the rounds, though, and that you might not know, and I love some of these comic book writers are tweeting out, it's an in-joke. Okay. Explain the joke. When they're walking through the alleyway, they pass in front of a shoe store known as Liefeld's Just Feet. Rob Liefeld is the guy who created Deadpool, and notoriously, back in the day, he was unable to draw feet. That was the joke. He couldn't draw feet. So now they put in here Liefeld's Just Feet. Yeah, funny side note, he tweeted out a picture of his feet to go with this. I already mentioned a couple other. We got Cassandra Nova. We got Giant Man, Ant-Man's head, which is pinfalls in the book, but it could easily be Langfalls here. Lady Deathstrike and Azazel show up in front of the Ant-Man head. We have a quick scene with what appears to be Dogpool. Now, that one's funny. I did like the comic version has a mask on Dogpool, but you know what? I don't think we should put a mask on a real dog. Probably couldn't breathe. So we won't do that. And then, of course, we have the teleportation at the end of it, which is apparently a sling ring, which I've already spoken about. So that's my theories and discussion of the Deadpool Wolverine trailer. I hope I helped you guys out today. I hope Dan was able to edit this quickly, and I hope I didn't butcher it too bad for him. That's it. Bye.